Have you ever driven through a beautiful neighborhood, looked at those meticulously manicured grass medians in the middle of the road, and wondered, wait, who actually takes care of all this? Well, usually it's just a passing thought, right? But today we're diving into a really fascinating explainer about the community of Sweetwater Oaks in Seminole County, Florida, where that exact simple question has evolved into a massive, multi-million-dollar legal dispute.
So, let's unpack this. Who pays for the grass in the middle of the road? On the surface, it's just grass, but once you start peeling back the layers, looking at local government administrative codes, property taxes, historical land dedications, it turns into this textbook example of how infrastructure management can just completely fall through the cracks. We're going to look at the history, the legal standoff, and the very real financial stakes involved here.
And to understand why the Sweetwater Oaks Homeowners Association is fighting this so hard right now, we really just need to look at the financial toll. The HOA claims residents are suffering about $200,000 a year in damages to maintain these properties. To put that in perspective, they are paying around $57,000 annually just for utilities and repairs alone. And they've been footing this bill, a bill they firmly believe isn't theirs, for at least 25 to 30 years. Compound that over decades, and yeah, you're talking about millions of dollars straight out of the residents' pockets.
Now look at the sheer scale of what we're talking about here. See those red, green, and orange lines? That highlights nearly 5 miles of public landscaped medians and road verges the HOA is currently maintaining. These aren't just tiny little patches of grass. We're talking about major thoroughfares, Sweetwater Boulevard, Smokerise Boulevard, Wekiva Springs Road. And it's not just turf either. These areas contain water wells, pump systems, irrigation lines, electrical meters. It is literally a massive infrastructural footprint.
Okay, moving on to Section 1, History of the Medians, Tracing the Turf. Let's see how this all started.
The whole thing kicks off back in the 1970s and 80s, when the developer, the Husky Company, first dedicated these streets. But then, things get a little murky. Between 1986 and 2013, the county passed administrative codes that actually exempted certain medians from their maintenance. But then, a massive plot twist. A 1996 county ordinance officially accepted these specific streets into the county's maintained system. And that created a truly fascinating collision of rules.
Which brings us to the absolutely crucial legal definition of a street in the county code. It specifically includes all land lying between the right-of-way lines, whether it's improved or unimproved. So the HOA's argument here is pretty straightforward. When Seminole County legally accepted the streets via dedication, they accepted the medians too, because, well, the medians literally sit right between those right-of-way lines. It's a really powerful textual argument based entirely on the county's very own definitions.
But the mystery actually deepened recently. When a resident did some digging in 2025, they discovered a bizarre lack of paperwork. We're talking no taxes paid, no property tax exemptions filed, no parcel numbers, and no official record transferring ownership to the HOA. The county initially pointed to an old developer agreement, but research showed that agreement didn't even cover the specific areas in dispute. Furthermore, check the Seminole County Property Appraiser's website. It doesn't show the HOA owning these medians at all. They are, for all intents and purposes, ghost parcels.
All right, Section 2, the legal ownership dispute, county versus HOA. Let's look at the standoff.
Impartially looking at the core arguments here, the county points to those administrative exemptions based on road size and traffic. They assert that, sure, the paved roads were dedicated, but the landscaped medians were not, and therefore they remain the property of the developer or the HOA. On the flip side, the HOA argues the dedication of the streets included the medians by default, going right back to that legal definition of a street. And since there's zero proof of an ownership transfer to the HOA, they firmly maintain the county is the sole legal owner.
And the HOA is absolutely not backing down. This quote from one of their documents sums it up perfectly. Due to its historical dereliction to accept the duties of ownership, Seminole County falls short of its social contract to its residents. Basically, they're saying the county is forcing residents to pay twice, once through their general taxes and then again through HOA fees, all because the county just abandoned the property. The residents feel they're being forced to step in just to protect their community's property values and safety.
Which leads us to Section 3, the Brightview precedent, following the money. Let's look at the actual costs.
To really grasp what it would mean if the county took over, we have to look at an existing precedent, the county's Small Facilities Maintenance Agreement with Brightview Landscaping Services. This brilliantly illustrates the level of care required for municipal landscaping. We aren't talking about a guy with a push mower showing up once a month. This is a highly regimented professional contract detailing everything from intense bed maintenance to chemical applications for fungus.
The requirements are just intense. Year-round mowing, frequent bed care, tree and palm fertilization. Just look at those numbers, 104 litter and debris removals a year. That means crews are out there twice a week, every single week, making sure the properties are spotless. Plus, 104 irrigation checks. It's an exhaustive level of service designed to keep public spaces looking top-notch.
And as you might guess, that level of service does not come cheap. The cost for that Brightview contract, which covers about 56.5 acres, is over $346,000 annually. Boom. That gives us a very clear, heavily documented look at exactly how much Seminole County pays a third-party vendor to maintain their public landscapes.
Now let's apply that baseline to Sweetwater Oaks. Using Google Earth, the HOA calculates they have just over 36 acres of turf on these disputed medians and verges. So based on those exact municipal standards we just discussed, taking over this maintenance is estimated to cost the county anywhere from $181,603 to $267,039 every single year. So if the HOA wins, that is a massive, immediate financial shift for the local government.
And to contextualize why the residents are so frustrated right now, their general property tax contributions to the county have surged by nearly $400,000 since 2020. And get this, 0 new homes have been built in Sweetwater Oaks during that time. None. That increase is strictly from ad valorem tax hikes and new owners buying existing homes. So the residents feel they're pouring way more money into the county's tax base, yet they're still stuck privately funding the upkeep of what they firmly believe is public property.
So where does this leave us? Section 4, Next Steps and Legal Action.
Let's pull up the recent HOA board minutes to see how this is all building toward a resolution. First, they formed a specialized median and verge task force. Through early 2026, they methodically built their case, compiling the history, reviewing the county codes. Then, on March 25th, the board unanimously authorized the HOA president to officially contact an attorney.
And that brings us to the most current development. As of their April 22nd meeting, Attorney Brent Spain is officially stepping in to represent the HOA in formal negotiations with Seminole County. And heads up, the HOA isn't just asking the county to handle future maintenance. Nope. Their internal documents show they believe Seminole County should reimburse them for the last 25 years of expenses, plus provide a full recurring monthly reimbursement moving forward. So it really is a high-stakes standoff over neighborhood grass. Will the county take over the turf, or will residents keep footing the bill? If the HOA wins, it forces the county to take on massive new landscaping contracts, which, could set a wild precedent for other neighborhoods. But if the county wins, Sweetwater Oaks residents will be shouldering this financial burden indefinitely. It's a completely fascinating look at the hidden mechanics of community infrastructure, and it definitely leaves you wondering, who actually owns the grass in the middle of your road?